So one of the big movies that I saw and was really excited for at TIFF was Weird, the Al Yankovic story, starring Daniel Radcliffe and Evan Rachel Wood. I personally grew up a big fan of Weird Al Yankovic, especially when I was in 7th and 8th grade. I loved his music, I listened to him religiously. UHF was one of my favorite movies for a short time there. So I was really excited to see what kind of a movie they would make about his life. And fittingly, this movie is a parody of musical biopics that we've gotten, like Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man in the recent past. That is where the movie shines the most, when it is poking fun and, being satirical at those common tropes that we see and that we're familiar with. It's really fun and, pretty clever in a lot of ways. Where the movie kind of fell apart for me, though, is when it kind of gets carried away with its humor, and it's hard to gauge because that level of awkward, cringeworthy humor is what Weird Al thrives off of and what makes him appealing. But that doesn't always work when you're looking at a grand cast. There's some gags that feel like they're straight out of like the Scary Movie franchise, and I think that will make or break a lot of viewers. I've always been a personal fan of that kind of humor, so I found it entertaining, but I also, the inner critic in me also acknowledges that it might not always be the most quality. And I think it does get carried away a little bit, and that's where it did kind of lose me. Daniel Radcliffe is very solid and very, great at overacting and making the performance as intentionally ridiculous as possible. Evan Rachel Wood, similar regard, where, she's playing an exaggerated fictional version of Madonna, and she was killer in it. I can't say she was an accurate Madonna, but for what she needed to make this story work, it was perfect. So it's one of those movies that really leaves me conflicted because the best parts are also the worst parts. It's one of those situations where I really feel like it's going to make or break viewers. Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it, but it was a fun time. So even though I don't think it's the best movie, I would still definitely watch it again and, just put it on in the background for some pleasure watching. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. It was awesome seeing Weird Al and Daniel Radcliffe in person, though.